Oh, yes, we are here. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. It is the weekend. It is Friday night. It is 11:05, which means it is time for Smack Talk, where myself, Sid, and the wrestling legend Dutch Mantell are going to break down 3 hours of wrestling, or at least some wrestling and some things that kind of vaguely resembled a wrestling show. We're going to break it all down for you here tonight.
See, his mood has transcended from before we went on the air to now. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd just like to announce Rick's in kind of a foul mood. So if you can get past that.
I'm irritated. All right. My kids drove me nuts tonight. And then, WWE does some questionable stuff. And
your kids drove you crazy. That's genetics. That's why you drive me. That's why you drive me and Sid crazy. Genetics.
I know
you can't help it.
Can you imagine two of me with a worse temper running around? Two little ones at that? Two ankle biters?
Yikes.
That's my household right now. My wife.
What's that old saying, Sid? You get what you sow.
That is true.
That's what you got. True. See, I feel sorry for those children, though. Rick is a dad. Go ahead. I didn't. That was a low blow. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, it's all good. I know.
But I'm not taking it back. So.
No, that's fine. I know you're just joshing. We appreciate all you guys who are chiming in already in the chat. Ricky and Elias and Isaac. Elias, that's a name we haven't heard from in a long time in WWE. I wonder what happened to him. Well, yeah, that's right. He died.
He died. He had a tombstone. You saw it.
Tombstone. Yep. That he walked away from. Ricky, Elias, Isaac, everybody who's saying hi so far, we appreciate it. Make sure to get your comments in, get your chats in, get your questions in, super chats if you want to guarantee that they get read on the air. Put them on out there, and we'll do our best to break everything down. Steven with us as well today. We appreciate you guys. Hello, Isaac. Oh, look at that. Ricky says his three favorite dudes. Never even met you, Ricky, but I appreciate that.
I met him. You wouldn't like him, Rick.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
No, Dutch, how you doing, Ricky? Let me take it back. Ricky, you wouldn't like Rick.
Oh,
okay. Best line of the night, I want to say, on either show. There was a lot of great promos on both shows, but the best line of the night was Orange Cassidy dropping the word to your mother.
I don't know. I kind of like the YouTube line from Britt Baker a little bit better, but yeah, it's hard to argue with word.
Britt Baker had the best promo of the night, and that's saying a lot on a night that had Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, this new Brock Lesnar.
Hey, I love Brock Lesnar's.
Yeah,
Mr. Excitement or Mr. Acknowledgement.
Yes.
And you, Dick. That was great.
Mr. Dick.
But Britt Baker just like came out and just was like, I'm one of the best promos in the game today, regardless of gender, and just totally the whole crowd was just like quiet, listen to every word, and then at the end when she put her final line, they were like, "Ooh!" Like it was just like, "Oh man!" Like why they get her started?
It's like she woke up on Wednesday, right, when they taped this show, and was like, "You know what? No one said how good I am at promos lately. Let me go out here and remind some folks," because that's exactly how it came up. Because she hasn't like had one of these in a little bit. Like she's always good on the mic. But she hasn't really, they've done a lot of backstage segments with her as late, but man, out front center stage, she shines, and she nails it almost every time on the microphone. She was great tonight.
She was good tonight, yeah.
And Thunder Rosa was good too, in just a smaller punch. She was quick.
Yeah. That's her person. I finally got it. Like she's like a warrior / Rosie Perez. Like she's got that fiery Latino like personality, and she just gets it out there. So she doesn't need to say much. She just needs to say a little and show that temperament. That's why her response was the perfect response. It was just like, I'm gonna dive over this table. To get my hands on you.
Yeah, that was oh man, who did that in WWE? Was that Liv Morgan who did like the dive spot during the contract signing like last year or something like that?
With Becky, yeah.
I freaking love that. That's such good stuff. A lot we got to get into tonight, both on Raw and SmackDown. Again, get your comments in, get your questions in. We'll try to get to as many of those as possible. But Dutch, the big news this week before the title unification announcement anyway, which we'll get to. Kind of a surprising one because the reports came out last year that he had signed a contract extension with WWE right before WrestleMania. Turns out it was only a 1-year extension. Kind of odd for WWE. Usually does multi-year deals, but your boy Cesaro is no longer with the company. was trying to negotiate a contract with the company, couldn't come to a correct term, so he's out for over a decade he spent with WWE, and now he is free to go wherever he wants. Bit surprising. What was your reaction when you heard the news that he was no longer with the company, and that WWE wanted to keep him, but they couldn't come to terms?
Well, that's the way the business used to work. Because if you couldn't get your money from one promoter, you tried another one. Now, the only other one he has two more, I guess. He has Japan, and he has AEW, but AEW can only sign so many people.
Well, we keep saying that, but they keep doing it.
Well, they keep signing them, and I keep hearing them that they're paying this super money, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. I don't think Tony Khan is just going to sign somebody up for $1 million or $2 million, and you see them 10 times during the year, and it hadn't helped his ratings that much. I mean, I don't know. But it did surprise me that Cesaro kind of picked his ball up and left. But I don't know where he's going. I don't know. And I think he may be, I would say, if the company had been running full time and, full shows all this time during the pandemic, but they haven't, I would like to say that he's just burnt out on the road, but he couldn't have been burnt out on the road. He hadn't been going out there that much. When did they start running shows? 2 months ago, 3 months ago?
No, it's a little longer than that. SummerSlam
July.
was SummerSlam was like the first kickoff to go.
Yeah, but they weren't running they weren't running house shows, were they?
It was pretty quickly after that they were running house shows.
Well, I like to say he was burnt out, but he's not burnt out. So, and he may just be taking some time off. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a long time. It did surprise me. And they may, since Jack is in AEW, that is a thought. They may be thinking about putting them back together, which wouldn't be a bad idea.
If that happens, they got to call you, right? Like they got to.
Well, they can call me as much as they want. I'm not really interested in going. Tell you the truth, I am burnt out on wrestling, and
we can tell every week.
Well, I'm burnt out on you, Rick.
Oh, okay.
I'm just using wrestling as an excuse.
I got you. Right. No, I read between what,
but I've done it. I've done it so many years, and I'm done. And not that I want to be done, but I just am.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what would if Cesaro called you up today, just to gauge your advice? What would you advise him to do in this situation if he does want to continue to wrestle? He's 41 years old. Maybe he wants to take a break. Maybe he wants to take some time off. Maybe he's door is still open to go back to WWE. What would you advise him to do in this situation?
Well, he did the right thing. He left without hard feelings on either side. It's a business decision. But I think he left I think he wanted more money. Not Tony Khan, but what's the guy's name? Nick Khan?
Nick Khan, yeah.
I don't think Nick Khan was willing to part with, because he's trying to get that bottom line down as low as he can. So WWE makes more billions of dollars. I mean, it's not like they need it, but he stood his ground, and Cesaro stood his, and we ended up in the situation we're in. So as far as if I know or even can conjure up what he's going to do, I can't. So I don't know. What would you advise him to do? Get a podcast on Breathing Rest. What's the name of your show called?
Believe in Pro Wrestling Podcast.
I said breathing wrestling.
BLEAV in Pro Wrestling Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, by the way.
He should be one of your first guests.
Well, I'm glad you brought up guests. Sid this week had a chance to talk with Alex Hammerstone ahead of Super Fight Charlotte, MLW, and also I got a very fun little interview that's going to be dropping next week. The first interview from Jimmy Yang post WWE producer tryout. So make sure you subscribe now.
Did he get the job?
He did not. He did not get the job.
He did not get the job.
He told me why he did not get the job.
And why was that?
Oh, sir, you'll have to tune in to find out that particular answer. But he says it's one that he's heard before, but this time he believes him. That's all I'm going to say.
Ooh,
That
okay.
is all I'm going to say. This is a guy who's had 4 stints with WWE now. He's heard the same answer a couple of times. He said this time, though, he actually believed them. So that is going to drop either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Just depends on how long it takes me to get the transcription done.
I'm going to find out what it is. I'm going to post it everywhere.
Absolutely.
Well,
Spoil it. Spoil it. You got
I'm
to get
going to spoil
You're
the
on the
crap out of it.
podcast channel.
Yeah,
Sid.
Yeah,
scoop.
I'm going
I
to
love-
spoil
I
the crap
love-
out of it.
I'm a true heel. I love heel work, so I appreciate that type of heel work. But Dutch, I have a question concerning Cesaro because I did a whole pod talking about Cesaro leaving WWE, and I pinpointed the point, and Will Washington on Twitter of Graph City Podcast over on Fightful did the same kind of breaking
Now
down.
you're promoting
that-
other people's podcasts. Jeez.
Hey, I'm helping. He was the one that put the thought in my head. I got to give credit where credit's due. But basically, around the time heading into WrestleMania 30, that's when Cesaro really got the most momentum that he got during his run on the main roster when he was with you guys in the Real Americans. And then they made that switch the night after WrestleMania 30, positioning him with Paul Heyman when Paul Heyman was the most hated guy because Brock Lesnar just ended the streak. What was your thoughts being backstage working there of that decision making to kind of cool off Cesaro when he was at his hottest?
Well, I thought it sucked. I thought it was the living, can I use this word, shits?
Sure.
I thought they didn't put any thought in it because that heated up Cesaro. They got him hot with Jack. Because you can tell when I would go out there with those two guys, those people would kind of stand up. They were interested in that we the people gimmick. And then all of a sudden, they didn't tell me anything, which is
Par for the
they
course.
don't have, they're not obligated to tell me, but they should just for professional respect. And they just came up that day and just took him away. And I heard, well, and they took a shot at me, I thought. They said, well, we want to get him over and Paul to get him over. And I'm thinking, are you shitting me? How's Paul Heyman going to get him over more than the thing you got him in now? Because, and then how long was he with Heyman?
Maybe 3 months.
If that,
maybe.
Because if they didn't do anything with him, and since that time till last year when he did that deal at WrestleMania, they try to reheated him a little bit and then dropped him. See, what Cesaro is to them lately, it's just a guy to put other guys over. Even in tag matches, he'd lose the fall. And I'm thinking, why do they do this?
I believe he was the one who took the pinfall in his last match when he was teaming with Mansoor, right? Wasn't he the one who took the pinfall a few weeks back?
I have no idea.
I think so. He lost his last 7 matches.
Yeah, but it didn't mean anything even if he won because at this point he's an afterthought, a big afterthought.
Yeah,
and a lot of people just even forgot he was even there.
This is a guy who beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania last year. The crowd was hot for that match. I know because I was there. It was an insane atmosphere, even with only 25,000 advertised people in the stadium at the time. That was the match of the night. He gets the rub, the chance against Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, and then nothing for literally the rest of the year. Nothing. And I it's not a surprise that honestly he didn't sign back up. I don't know if it was money so much as look, guys, I've been doing the same stuff for 11 years. When is it going to be my time? When might I have something substantial come my way, as far as creatively? That might have been a sticking point for him as well. I'm not going to, speculate on anything, but if I was him, that at this point in my career with the money that I've made, that would certainly be something. If I busted my ass, been one of the best workers, and I'm constantly voted like the most overlooked person in the entire company 11 years running, I'd kind of get tired of that at a certain extent.
Well, I would have got tired of it before then, and he probably did get tired of it. He just didn't. He's very non-confrontational. I don't think he likes to argue and bicker and negotiate. And I don't know who his agent was, whether he was his own agent or not. But I think if they refuse to give him more money, that's the clear sign. Well, we're not going to do anything with you anyway. I mean, you nuts. I think creative gave up on him. I think Vince gave up on him, even if he puts that much thought in it. I don't know how much Nick Khan, how much I get. He must have most of the influence now, don't you think?
Yeah.
And if he can do that, and if Vince didn't speak up,
Well,
so
it sounds like it's more of like a creative thing, like you were saying, with like
yeah, but they've had that. They've had that almost the whole time he was there.
But basically, the Fightful update today said he had a disappointment with over his like booking and the way he was used or not used in certain spots. So that had a contributing factor to him leaving.
Yeah,
well, if he goes to AEW, they will do something with him, but their booking is once every 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, you see these guys every couple of weeks, and then it disappears.
AEW right now is kind of like when a theme park opens up a new roller coaster. Like everybody rushes on over there, and then all of a sudden there is a line backed up for 3 miles, and everybody's waiting for their turn. And that's pretty much what all the new talent is doing. Now, some of them, buy the fast pass and they jump the line. The Bryan Danielsons, the CM Punks of the world, because they can afford the fast passes. They're getting the bags, right? But you get guys like Andrade, Matt Hardy, Christian. It's like all of a sudden that line just keeps going and going and going, and people are waiting for their turns. And there's more people who are going to be jumping in line. Isaiah Swerve Scott, formerly known as Isaiah Swerve Scott, Swerve Strickland, he's reportedly going to be joining the company soon.
Who's that? Who is that?
He was part of Hit Row when he got.
What's his name? I saw that today.
Yeah.
Swerve.
Yeah, Swerve.
So
he's going to.
And guess what is going to happen to him? Same thing. He's going to get in that line. He's going to wait till his number comes up, and then put him back on TV.
It's a good thing for AEW, but if you're patient enough, it's a good thing for the talent there. But the other good thing is, and this is something that Sid and I talked about earlier this week on the Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast, is these guys are free to go do other bookings. They are.
Why don't we do this, guys? Why don't we all form a little 3-man team? We call ourselves anything like the Unreliables or something, and then we'll sign the deal. And they'll send us a check like every week, and we show up like once every 3 months.
Oh man,
we ain't got to do nothing.
I'd do that.
And if you don't want to do the job, I'll take the fall and let them pin me every week. I don't care. Just send me that check with a couple of zeros on it, and then we'll go. And we'll keep our little gig going here.
If I can just get a good day and I could pass the physical, right, then I could just sign an injury waiver after my back flares up again. And
won't you sign a mental waiver right now? Because you would qualify for that.
Oh, damn. Could I ever do that? But, who knows what we'll see with Cesaro. Hopefully, he finds happiness, whatever he's doing. He could go out on the indies and just have banger matches all over the freaking world if he wants to. Whatever he wants, I hope he's happy, and I hope he gets it. The other big news that came out this week, the Unreliables. Well, that definitely describes my back right now. The other big news that came out earlier today, Sid, WWE is deciding to make this the biggest match ever. The main event of WrestleMania Sunday. I do like that change. It's a lot better. WrestleMania Saturday, WrestleMania Sunday, a lot better than night 1, night 2, in my opinion. Small change, but I think it's better. Last night, last match, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. They look at the graphic. There's more words on that thing than I've ever seen on a graphic before in my life. But the basic point is this is no longer just winner take all. It is a title unification match, which means at the end of WrestleMania, we will have one world champion in WWE. And this is something that we talked about before the show, a little show prep chat between yourself and I. You are actually okay with this.
I've said this once, I will say it again. WWE convinced me this was their only way to make this different from every other time Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar have faced each other. Because, ladies and gentlemen, since 2015, these men have been in singles or multi-man matches 7 times. They had to do something different. The last time they had the whole Paul Heyman in the middle, but now we know Paul Heyman is firmly established with the tribal chief, with Roman Reigns, so they had to give us another hook. They had to make this the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, so they had to make it title versus title. I am down with the unification. I'm down with one champion. If people think the one champion means, oh, they should just end the brand split, that is just silly thinking. That means to me, you did not watch this product from 2010 to 2015 when SmackDown was basically the redheaded stepchild of Monday Night Raw. Like, they didn't care. They didn't care at all. So don't end the brand split. But how the brand split started in 2002 was they had one undisputed champion. Triple H would go from Raw to SmackDown. Hulk Hogan would go from Raw to SmackDown. The Undertaker, and so on and so forth. That's what needs to happen. Have your separate champions for the other titles, but one world champion. It just makes sense, and that's the only way you make Roman versus Brock new in some way.
No, I agree with that. So instead of, you're not losing a title, you're actually gaining one, because SmackDown will still have their top guy. Raw will have their top guy, and the champion, the unified champion, can float back and forth between them. So I like that idea.
Honestly, I think that's the only reason they're doing this. I think it's a little short-sighted. I think they just want to put Roman Reigns on both shows and eat up a half-hour programming each night with Roman Reigns, which I get it. That's fine. He's your biggest freaking star, and you could do that for as long as you want. But you could do that if he holds both titles. To me, what this says is WWE does not have enough guys on the roster that they want to push to that level. That's what this tells me. They have the talent, but they don't want to push guys up to that level. They have enough hard enough time coming up with challengers for one world championship, so they don't want to book 2 world championships anymore. That is all that tells me, which means for the next 2 years, get ready for a lot of Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, maybe Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, possibly Seth Rollins being in the title picture, and nobody else. I don't think anybody else has a chance within the next 2 years of winning that title with there only being one. And it doesn't make any sense to have 2 world titles for the women, 2 men's tag team championships, and only 1 world title for the men. It doesn't make any sense to do that to me.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. Because they're their own shows. They're their own shows. They own rosters. They just have one champion. And that's going to elevate the mid-card titles. The U.S. title is going to be more important if there's some weeks they don't want Roman to be on Monday Night Raw, and he's only going to be on SmackDown feuding with the number 1 contender over there. The United States Championship is going to get elevated because that's the top title now. Same thing for the Intercontinental title. That's what needs to happen, and that's going to force their hand to kind of do that. So I think that it helps out other things. Yeah, maybe we're not going to get, Jack Swagger was world champion. Mark Henry was world champion. Booker T was world champion because there was 2 world titles. I understand that. And yeah, we're not going to have guys like Kofi Kingston, Bobby Lashley Bobby Lashley, I think he's firmly established in that main event scene, but like a Kofi or Big E winning the world championship isn't going to happen with 1 world champ, but it's going to help everybody else, I believe, by helping out those mid-card titles and helping out the women's title and the tag team titles, because now with 1 world champion, those titles have to be defended more on TV. So
I agree with that, because I think you're actually adding a whole new concept, a whole new level with a new guy. He's not a new guy, but then you got to fill both those championships, the Raw and the SmackDown title. So you elevate one, and then you get one to float back and forth. That's the way the old NWA title used to be defended, except, of course, now they only have 2 territories. You only have a SmackDown, and they only have Raw. But they can make it work. But then again, we're dealing with WWE, so we'll have to see if it works or not.
They should elevate those mid-card titles, but I don't have any faith that they will.
Oh, well, I understand not having faith. I am Mr. not having faith with WWE. But this is a concept that people wanted during that first brand split. The issue that happened with 1 world champion on both shows is that one show had women's wrestling, the other show didn't. One show had tag teams, the other show didn't. So having the titles actually make sure that Raw and SmackDown has a women's and tag team division on both shows. So I'm down for all of that. One world champion is just going to make it more important for the main event scene and more important on who they push in that scene. And I believe just having those 6 guys for a couple of months, they're going to have to push someone new to at least have an opportunity to get over.
Okay, would you agree to doing the same thing with or did you just say that? Same thing with the women's titles.
I think if you do it for one, you have to do it for the other.
Well, you don't have to.
No, you don't.
It does not make any sense to unify your men's world titles.
What did I say?
The women still have 2 of them.
They're not making sense. They're making content. That's what I'm trying to tell you that. But yeah, it does make sense. They'd have to do it for the women, which I think it helps them too.
This is something that I've been on for a while.
That's why you called an undesirable.
I don't like the idea of one women's world championship because the roster is so stacked. It's already incredibly hard for anyone not named Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda to win a championship with 2 of them. Taking it down to 1 would make it damn near why even bother? Because until they're gone, no one else is going to hold that championship. There's those 5, 10 feet of crap, and then everybody else compared to WWE, and even those 5 are on different tiers. It's Ronda, it's Charlotte, it's Becky. Then there's a little bit of space. Then it's Sasha and Bayley. Then 10 feet of crap, and oh yeah, here's the rest of this women's division. Bianca Belair has a chance to get into that upper echelon if she wins at WrestleMania over Becky Lynch, which would be her first title loss.
So are you saying Bianca's not in the top 6?
If she wins at WrestleMania, she is, in my opinion, yes. At that point.
But right now, I'm not talking about after WrestleMania. I'm talking about right now.
Right now, no, I'm not putting her in the top 6. It's a top 5.
Where would
top
you put
6
Bianca?
women?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's in the top 6 women. She's behind the 4 horsewomen and Ronda.
Yeah, she's 6, but what I'm saying is there's a gap between 5 and 6. That gap closes if she wins at WrestleMania. That's what
I don't think there's a gap between her and Bayley. Bayley didn't get on the card to WrestleMania last year, so I don't think that's a gap between them.
That's a mistake. Yeah.
That
was a mistake.
There's not a gap, and we see what's going on with Sasha Banks. She has to reunite a tag team that hasn't been a tag team in 7 years to get on the WrestleMania card. So that's not much of a gap between her and Bianca Belair either.
Yeah,
especially if Bianca Belair wins at WrestleMania.
Yeah, Rick, do you hear that?
I
heard what you say now.
I heard it. We'll get to it. Why don't we start?
Good point, Sid.
Why don't we start at the top of the night here? We get an opening segment between Ronda Rousey and Michael Cole. A little interview here. Ronda seems very, very comfortable with Michael Cole. Sid, this was something that you enjoyed, obviously, because your girl Ronda was on stage.
Oh, of course. Whenever Ronda's on screen, I'm all for it. Love the story about her, coming back, trying to be like her mother, who was a badass, and win at WrestleMania. And the crowd sounded behind her, and it didn't sound like canned noise like it did the first week on Monday Night Raw. So this was good in my book. They were behind her. They've positioned her very well since that first appearance after the Royal Rumble. Being against Charlotte,
talked to her and told her to be a babyface. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about the moves they made. I'm not talking about talking to her, and I'm not talking about what she's done. I'm talking about positioning her against Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is hated by the fans. If there's going to be an option of a broom or Charlotte Flair, that broom is going to be the most over broom in the history of brooming. So that's what happened. So Ronda Rousey doesn't have to do much. She's going to get cheered against Charlotte Flair, and the same thing goes for Sonya Deville and the character they built with her. I like what they've been doing here, and I like the angle to open the show.
Good show. I like the opening. I did.
I like Ronda.
Boy, that got quiet.
I like Ronda. I think she's very, very talented, and I say
here it comes. Here it comes.
I say this knowing that she's not as comfortable on the mic as she is as an in-ring performer. Okay. I thought she sounded like she had the enthusiasm level tonight of a Ben Stein impersonation contest. she might as well have been doing a commercial for Clear Eyes tonight, the way that she was talking in the ring. Can I just get a little bit of energy out of just a little bit? Just a little bit more. I'm not asking for much. Like, I like the story. I agree with you, Sid, but man, she was putting me to sleep tonight. Like, can we just ramp it up a little bit? You're on live TV. This is professional wrestling. Can we just take your personality and not, because I know you can do it. I've seen her be fire on the microphone before, but that was when she was being a heel. She even had some better babyface promos before she turned heel. Tonight, it's like sitting on a couch, talking on her podcast channel or something like that. It was just.
How is she going to be fired up
flat.
with the story that they basically told her to tell a sympathetic story, and then the angle was for her to do selling. So she did what they asked her to do.
Oh, once the action started,
that's what they asked her to do.
Once the action
but that's
started,
what they.
But you can still be upbeat and up energy doing stuff, even telling that story. Trust me, it's possible.
Upbeat, telling a story about your, coming back.
You have to
from injury, breaking your hand.
Yeah,
she's not supposed to sound somber about that.
Look, she might as well have been reading the freaking ingredients of a soup can. It had the same inflection. It would have had the same dang inflection the way she spoke tonight.
But the story was a good story. Sometimes you have to overlook. You have to overlook. Why would you get really? I'm agreeing with Sid here. Why would you get excited talking about her mother studying to be whatever?
Can we just not sound asleep? That's all I'm asking. Can we not sound asleep? That's all I'm asking. Just turn it up a little bit. She sounded bored tonight. She sounded bored. I'm nitpicking.
Yes, very clearly. Because you're the same man. You're the same man that thought those boring Alexa Bliss segments was fantastic during them. I'm not saying Ronda was fantastic tonight. I am saying that WWE has made the right position in positioning Ronda against Charlotte, and it got over with the fans there. I am not complimenting Ronda, and I do agree with you. She could have showed more energy, but when you say she could have been more upbeat, when you're saying all these emotions that doesn't fit the story she's trying to tell, you're wrong. You're over nitpicking.
No, I'm not over nitpicking. She sounded asleep.
Nobody's asked me.
Wake the hell up. That's all I'm saying. You're on.
Aspie said, is he over nitpicking?
Is he over nitpicking?
Hell yeah. He's got to find something wrong with it. Mr. Excitement here. And now you've killed the whole killed the whole show, Rick. Right, I'm so depressed now. I'm just going to leave.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was one thing that I really liked tonight, guys, and it was the setup that they did for Ronda and Sonya. I'm looking forward to this match next week. What do you think, Sid?
I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to the matchup. I think if they throw in a little bit of mixed martial arts, it will be a fun little matchup here. And of course, like I said, Ronda's usually better when she's wrestling and doesn't have to talk.
I think this is going to be a glorified squash match, unfortunately, for Sonya Deville, because she's definitely been put into this position of, yeah, I'm just there to get. I mean, she got beat by Ronda in a tag match with one arm tied behind her back. She's going to get decimated next week.
No, she's not. I realized between the Elimination Chamber and what they did tonight, they are in let's build sympathy for Ronda mode, where she's going to sell next week. She's going to have to sell for Sonya. She's going to go after the knee, or they're going to do like a sneak attack before the match. This is going to be them selling. They're trying to make Ronda sympathetic before WrestleMania. I don't think that's the right decision. I've said before, I'll say again. Ronda Rousey, the badass, it's what's going to get over here and what's the better thing. But they are convinced we got to make Ronda sympathetic so everybody loves
That's
her.
how they try to get every baby face over. Every single one. And you know what? More often than not, they fail, and then they turn them heel. It's the same script we saw with Nikki ASH. It is the exact same script.
All right, so you didn't like Ronda doing her stuff tonight, right, Rick?
Look, I've made it very clear. I would like to see her wake up a little bit when she talks. That's all I'm asking for. I thought the story was good. I thought once the action started, it was good. I like the fact that they set up Ronda and Sonya for next week. I liked everything about it. I'm just asking her to wake up a little bit on the microphone. That's all I'm asking.
Is that it?
That's it.
But
Okay.
I just,
I'll tell her. I'll
I-
tell her.
My lesson for Rick this week, I've been having to say this to him a lot. I just want you to keep that same energy for the Alexa Blisses of the world, for the Becky Lynches of the world. Because when I'm critical,
I know
when
you're
I'm
not,
when I am
not
critical,
about to
That's right,
compare
Rick.
when I
Becky
am
Lynch
critical,
or
agree.
Ronda Rousey as far as promos.
When I am critical of those individuals, you seem to always try to gloss over and put a positive light on it.
Good point, Sid.
When
Helen,
one of those people has been a heel for 6 months and they're still not booed as a heel, the other person had 9 weeks of therapy segments where you said they were fantastic, but the rest of the world was saying they were bored to death.
You keep putting words in my mouth. I said Alexa Bliss.
I just said you.
No, that's not what you said. You said the segments were fantastic. That's the word you just said.
She was fantastic.
Her performance was really damn good.
You didn't even listen. You heard the word fantastic and you cut me off. I said you said she was fantastic, but everyone was bored to death.
Bad creative is bad creative.
I just want you to keep the same energy across the board. You're being overly critical of Ronda Rousey. I want you to be mutually critical.
Let's wrap it up. What did Ronda Rousey? What was her claim to fame to even get into WWF? She was serious.
Yes.
And she was kick-ass. So you can't expect her to go in damn Academy Award mode every time she gets a mic in front of her face. You have to accept her as is. So I do, and I think people make allowances that she's not a great talker. So now you hurt his feelings, Sid. Look at him. He's about ready to cry.
We got another thing that pissed me off tonight. New Day versus Los Lotharios for the third damn time. Another good match, but like at this point, are we even trying? Are we even trying? Or are we just trying to fill time? I mean, they had a fun little ATV spot there at the end. And again, it was a good match. They've had 3 really good matches, but I just don't. Are we moving on now? Because the New Day had that thing with the.
I wish Big E had actually driven over him.
That would have been. We never get this match again.
Yep. So what did I say? I think I said it to somebody. You can almost pick who's going to be first and who they're going to be facing. Mm-hmm. But they did surprise me tonight a little bit. So, and I didn't think the first match was. At least they changed the finish up. I like the finish. Yep. It was pretty good.
I mean, those 4 guys work well together. I just think it's almost borderline insulting to just put them on the screen and have 3 straight matches 3 weeks in a row. You have other tag teams on the roster.
You want to see the Vikings and the Lotharios again?
Give me something I didn't watch last week.
But that's something we already seen. That's another rematch. Just because it's been a couple of weeks since we've seen it doesn't make it
maybe
not
it's
a
time
rematch.
to end the brand split as far as tag teams are concerned. You got 1 billion of them over on Raw.
No, just make more tag teams and actually care about them. That they never do that. It doesn't matter if all the tag teams are together.
Why don't you keep that same energy when I talk about the women's tag team titles that you said just needs to go away because they don't utilize them at all?
Who said that?
Sid did.
Did you say that, Sid?
They don't utilize the women's.
Well, then they should create some more tag teams.
You only watch SmackDown, Dutch. Is this the first time you've heard about the women's tag team titles in a few weeks tonight when Sasha said that she's going to be the next Naomi?
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, like.
And I don't even watch the show and still don't know where it came from.
That seemed like a foreign concept to most people. They're like, women's tag team titles, where the hell they been? I haven't heard about those since the draft. At least they actually got.
Who are the champions?
On each show, they got 1 tag team they care about. It's usually the tag team champions. Right now, they got 3 on Raw. They got 1.5 on SmackDown. They care half about Viking Raiders and the New Day. That's like 25% each.
Wait a minute, here's a question. I thought they weren't going to use the name New Day anymore.
They haven't. They've been calling them Kofi Kingston and Big E.
No, they call them New Day tonight, right?
Yeah, they call them New Day on commentary.
Yeah, they did tonight. They come up with a damn.
It was McAfee.
The New Day.
It was McAfee. I think McAfee probably got yelled at in the headset.
But they used it tonight, right?
Yeah, McAfee said it at least a couple of times.
Because McAfee is a voice of the fans. He's probably like, it's stupid not to call them the New Day. Like, why are we not calling them the New Day? That's the New Day.
McAfee is there to back up the talent too. What he did for Xia Li tonight was hilarious. And awesome.
My God, that was one of the best commentary moments yet. You had the Hershey, Pennsylvania crowd chanting Hershey's chocolate, and Pat McAfee comes up and be like, "Oh my God, this Pennsylvania crowd is behind Zaya Lee saying Zaya's got it," or Zaya.
Which, by the way, I guess they were chanting that because of something that Natalya said during the commercial break, which kind of makes a little bit of sense. I think she said something along. I saw on Twitter that she might have said something that she's a Nestle fan or something like that instead of Hershey. So that was why they were chanting that during the match. Would have been nice had they explained that on commentary, because I thought the crowd was being disrespectful as fuck during that match, which was actually a really solid performance for Xia Li. And by the way, her first match since being drafted on October 4th. She was drafted to SmackDown October 4th. It is February 25th, and she had her first match.
How did that match end? I've actually forgotten. Who won the match?
Xia Li won with a really cool looking spin kick.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was okay. It was okay. I didn't think the match was good or something.
Said solid, Sid. I said solid. Is solid a good enough word for you?
I'm giving my opinion. Why are you? He's attacking me, Dutch.
Yeah, I told you I'm in a piss poor mood tonight. You guys are just poking the
He's pissed
there.
Poor, and you hurt his feelings, and now he's mad. So now you guys calm it down. I'm gonna have to book this match between you two.
I don't have a back to wrestle anymore.
We should book a match and put it on just like closed circuit. Do they still have closed circuit?
YouTube.
Yeah. Hey, we could put it there. Yeah. All right. So go ahead, Rick.
Go ahead, Rick.
Get over. Be a professional instead of an undesirable. So he fits the term already.
Unreliable, undesirable.
The unreliables and the undesirables.
Pretty much sums up my entire life. Yeah. Again, I thought it was a pretty solid showing for Xia Li tonight. Glad that she finally got her first match. We'll probably get her and Natalya again next week. Not a whole lot to say about it, to be completely honest.
I am burnt out on Natalya. I am just burnt out on her. I mean, I think I got burnt out on her when she went with, what's her name? Attila the Hun. What's that girl's name? Aaliyah? Attila the Hun.
You said Attila the Hun? Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, my God. But, yeah, I did say that. But I couldn't remember Aaliyah. I've been hit on the head too many times. Oh, Rick's holding his head now. He's saying, what the hell have I gotten into here? All right. So go ahead, Rick.
Oh, my God.
Be the lead here.
You just made my brain freeze, to be completely honest with you guys. Make sure to keep getting your comments in.
Attila the Hun?
Sid's running the chat tonight. He'll try to get to it.
Sid is running the chat.
Sid is running the chat tonight. Technical difficulties on my end. Can't get into the Captain Kirk swivel.
Hey, when they showed the picture of Shayna Baszler, who was standing beside her? Who was that guy?
There was Drew Gulak.
What's his name?
Drew Gulak.
Yeah. And who else?
Mansoor was there.
Yeah.
And Leah was there.
Okay.
The rest of the SmackDown roster that hasn't been released yet and isn't used on TV.
So just stick them out there, cameo role.
Just remind people they exist. Just a reminder. Yeah. That's all it is. Just a reminder that those people
exist. They should have a sign, we're still here,
Yeah. Well, hey, Shotzi Blackheart is still there. She had a match for all of about 3 minutes tonight. Didn't get an entrance, while Sasha Banks got the All-Star Game Michael Jordan introduction. 6-time women's champion, 2-time tag team champion, talking about how great she is, kind of like a makeup for the fact that she got tossed from the Royal Rumble inside of 6 minutes, and then we haven't seen her since.
I thought you liked the girls, Rick.
I do.
Now you're just down-mouthing them. See,
all I'm doing is spitting facts. This is what WWE did to Sasha Banks over the last 3 weeks. They brought her back for the Royal Rumble. She was there for 4, 5, 6 minutes. And that's the first time we've seen her since. She beats.
That's the way they booked it.
That's the
They
way
booked it that way. Yeah.
Yes, I'm just spitting facts. So Sasha Banks said she beats Shotzi. Naomi comes out for this. And I thought maybe Naomi was going to get in the ring and ask for a match. Like, I thought we were about to get maybe Naomi and Sasha doing some kind of an angle leading up to WrestleMania, maybe. And then
I thought the same thing.
Thank you. So, see,
I did.
Finally, me and Dutch agree on something tonight. Y'all been ganging up on me since the start of this damn show. But no, Naomi just gets in the ring.
I can't believe that.
Naomi just gets in the ring.
Rick, you're too much.
No explanation whatsoever. Just say, hey, we're really cool, and we're gonna go win the women's tag team titles at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Could that?
I thought it was gonna get in the ring, and when she says that, then they're gonna have a disagreement. But then they hugged. I said, okay.
Is that
whatever.
not the laziest way to announce a new tag team? Like, don't get me wrong. I'm happy there's a second one. Good on WWE. In one night, they doubled the amount of women's tag teams that they have in the entire division. That is solid news. That is progress.
That should have made you happy.
They doubled it up from 1 to 2.
Yeah.
But clearly, they looked at Naomi and Sasha and went, we got to get you guys on the card somehow, some way. So y'all are going to compete for the tag team titles. There you go.
Well, they got 2 nights to fill.
Done. Yes.
See, they got 2 nights to fill.
20 matches.
Yeah,
they could have two matches a night on the pre-show and then 8 matches on the card because that's what they did. They had 16 matches last year between both nights. Right now, we got 3 matches that are announced. It's almost like they could use the
4.
They announced the 4th one.
They have been when the Fox updated the Ronda and Charlotte on night 1, they've included Edge versus an opponent to be announced.
Okay, so we got 4 matches, which means there's at least 12 more to come. It's almost like they could use a separate WWE title program. It's almost like they could use that to help fill out.
No, they don't. They know what they're doing. They're playing the long game, ladies and gentlemen. I put on my Vince hat. I know what they are doing. Everything's in place. They're setting up their women's tag team championship matchup as predicted by yours truly, SP3. I said that Sasha Banks would be in a women's tag team championship matchup at WrestleMania. I just got the partner wrong.
You did.
I just got the partner wrong. I said Bayley. Bayley ain't ready to come back yet. So Naomi works. And I must have been the only one, but I knew they were teaming up together when Naomi came out because one hint was Sasha Banks was twerking to Naomi's theme, and that led to Pat McAfee. That led to Pat McAfee with the best moment where he just got up. It was like the Dave Chappelle segment.
Hey, I think we can all agree. Great stuff. I think we can all agree SmackDown was so much better with Pat McAfee back this week.
Oh, absolutely. He had so many lines I had to quote. My favorite one is it's not a homeless man who found a nice suit. It's your Intercontinental Champion. Like, he had so many great lines tonight. Pat McAfee was such a joy, but him dancing to Naomi just was like, oh man, just put a bigger smile on my face. That was awesome. But I knew the whole time she was very positive about Sasha. She smiled when Sasha won. When she was getting in the ring, she smiled at Sasha. She looked at the sign. And she stood side by side with her. She wasn't really facing her. So there was a lot of aesthetic things that told me they were teaming up together.
Well, I mean, once she got in the ring, I kind of figured it out. But maybe it was more I was hoping we might be getting a match between these two, at least something. Give me some kind of story of them getting together.
I keep telling y'all, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait a minute. They could still be a story between them.
Yeah.
Yes or no? Yeah.
They still got time. They got 5 more weeks until WrestleMania.
Yeah, they got to fill that with something.
I don't see WWE investing in another singles women's match after their 2 singles title matches. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Okay.
Sucks. Well, hey, we get a Team Bad reunion. Maybe they'll throw Tamina in there too somewhere. All right. Can we talk about our Intercontinental Championship feud heading into WrestleMania here? Dutch.
Yep. That's my name.
I like Johnny Knoxville.
Yep.
I think Johnny Knoxville is genuinely entertaining in the ring. I think he has taken to WWE like a duck to water. Hell, the strike he landed on AJ Styles in the Royal Rumble looked damn good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about Johnny Knoxville fighting for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's fine. Believe me. Because all the crap they have done over the years, it's damn sure is not at the bottom. Because one thing I'll say about them, they're kind of entertaining together.
They are. They work really well with one another.
And everybody knows, I mean, it's not a serious deal, but I want to see what they do. I don't think Johnny Knoxville could beat this thumb. I don't think he could beat a broom. But if they got this match, and I want to see what happens in it. They probably will end up together, which would be
maybe.
a good.
Possibly.
So,
I think maybe Nakamura gets involved in this match at WrestleMania to kind of set up that hope spot.
I hope
Make
not.
you think Johnny Knoxville actually. They got to find
somebody else. Get a
Steve-O.
broom. Just get a broom. Just throw the broom in there and said, "Hey."
Maybe they put a stipulation on this, not another Nigerian drum fight, but maybe they make this no holds barred or something to give Knoxville a chance, because realistically, Sid, he should not even get a hit on Sami Zayn in this match.
They should definitely make it like a hardcore match or something along those lines to have enough smoke and mirrors where Knoxville can get like some type of advantage, hit him with a couple of chairs, kendo sticks. And at the end of the day, I feel like this is fine. The Intercontinental title hasn't been used a lot on pay-per-view. This is a way to get it, make sure it's on the card and prominently featured. Plus, the fans are into it. Johnny Knoxville's got one of the biggest pops on this whole show. They are very much into him. They were rooting for him against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has gotten over as a heel, and the fans want to see him get beat up. And they want Johnny Knoxville actually to do it, which is funny enough. So it can either be for the Intercontinental Championship or not. We might see Sami Zayn lose the title next week against Ricochet. So we never know what's going to happen and how this story is going to play out. But I like the story they've built up so far. And it's one of the better feuds they've built for WrestleMania so far, in my opinion.
Isn't that part of the problem, though?
How was that part of the problem?
It's part of the problem because Johnny Knoxville is getting bigger pops than your actual full-time performers, and you've invested more in his storyline than your actual full-time performers.
But he's had 4 or 5 hit movies, so he's got his fans.
But even
people that don't know him know who he is.
We've been doing the show for over a year together. Didn't we just go through this last WrestleMania season with Bad Bunny? Bad Bunny was the most over guy during the build-up to last year's WrestleMania. That's what the WWE does. Go back to WrestleMania 1. Who was the most over guy on that build-up? Mr. T. Like, come on, people. It's just a different celebrity, a different year. It might not be what you want as a hardcore wrestling fan, but guess what? That's not WWE don't care what you hardcore wrestling fans care about. Really? They don't care what I care about. They care about the casual fans that want to see Johnny Knoxville wrestle. That's what this is all about.
I'm gonna say for me, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. I think that's what most fans, intelligent fans anyway, nobody's expecting. I think if Johnny Knoxville pinned him, they'd go, bullshit. Get the hell out of here. But if they do something stupid, they have to do something jackass stupid, and they will remember it.
They got the right guy for it, that's for sure. I mean, look, they have an opportunity to create a moment here, at least get a really good hope spot. And trust me, I understand what they're doing here. Again, the wrestling purist in me who loves the Intercontinental Championship. I hate the idea of Johnny Knoxville possibly winning this damn thing. Which makes me kind of hope that Ricochet wins next week. But then again, if they put the title on Ricochet, I have no faith whatsoever that this title is going to get on WrestleMania. So I'm really kind of torn here.
Why would Ricochet win next week?
I think Johnny Knoxville might screw him out of it, but Johnny wants the title. So
Johnny Knoxville might try to
Rick,
get revenge.
This is your problem, Rick.
I have a lot of them.
You want to rush things. You want to go here, and then end up here. Then where are you going to go? Where are you going to go, Rick?
I'm not the one
Where
who's
you going to go?
this
Where
shit.
you going to go? I know, but if you were, I mean, those things, the ideas you have are good, really, but you can't throw them all together in a 2 or 3 week span. You got another 50 weeks of the year. What are you going to do?
All I said was I kind of want to see Ricochet win this match because I don't want Johnny Knoxville to win the Intercontinental Championship, which I think might be a possibility at WrestleMania. Honestly, I do. I would not put it past WWE to make that switch.
But don't you think if he did win Ricochet, since he's in the angle now, he would be the cause of it?
Possibly. That might be the only
They
way
could
Ricochet
actually
can
do something they've never done before and have Johnny Knoxville bequeath the title, if he won, to Ricochet. Of course, that leaves Sami Zayn. No, you can't do that. You just can't give somebody a title. Yeah. And then here's the conspiracy. They'll do anything to stop him.
I mean, I get it. Trust me, I get it. I don't know how I feel about it. I won't know how I feel about it until I see it go down. All right? I'm allowed to feel how I feel.
Well, you are.
What do we think about Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss again?
Oh, what a bump he took.
Holy shit.
Madcap. I don't know how he got up from that.
Why do we keep replaying it?
Because he's fine. That's why. Miraculously, he didn't die.
No kidding. His head twisted too. I don't know how he didn't have a broken neck. Seriously. I mean,
I guess the guy is just so dang stacked, right? I mean, thick neck, strong neck. What are these called? Traps, whatever they're called. Holy crap, man.
Well, normal people, they're called traps. On you, Rick.
Hey, that's like the only muscle.
I'm not going to finish that. I'm not going to finish that.
But
he is very, very lucky. And I'm going to tell you, I kind of enjoyed that tonight too. Because I was thinking, this has to end up with Moss and Corbin turning on each other. They have to. Because I think Madcap Moss, people kind of like him.
I think they like Riddick Moss, the performer, and I think he earned the respect of a lot of people by continuing the match at Elimination Chamber. And hell, wrestling freaking 6 days later after that.
Yep.
I mean, just absolutely insane. And I actually liked how they turned the inverted Alabama Slam into a story tonight, that Drew was going for that spot again, and then Madcap, freaking Spider-Man, grabs onto the ropes to get out of that. And I loved the finish tonight in this match. I love Drew hitting the Claymore out of absolutely nowhere and then panning over to Happy Corbin, and that look on his face that he gave after the Claymore was priceless tonight. Look, Madcap Moss has a lot of skill. I think he's got a lot of potential. This character sucks, and it's dragging him down, unfortunately. But if he splits from Happy Corbin, they got a chance to do something with him, I think.
I think that's coming up.
Hopefully sooner rather than later, Sid.
So you think the gimmick or the name?
Both, to be completely honest with you.
You don't like Madcap Moss? He's a comedian.
I get it. Not a very good one.
Yeah, okay. But I enjoyed that tonight. It surprised me. I thought it was going to be – I was thinking, why would they have Corbin go up against McIntyre tonight? That didn't make sense. But the way they changed it around, it worked.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to give away a WrestleMania caliber match on television, right, Sid?
Yeah. Corbin even said it. It's a WrestleMania caliber matchup, so that means we're getting it at WrestleMania because Drew McIntyre, the second biggest male superstar on SmackDown, needs to be feuding with Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin for 4 months.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I'd rather see him and Sheamus heat back up, to be completely honest with you. They could have this feud in a short window is fine.
So you would rather have Sheamus and feuding with who? McIntyre?
I'd rather see that again than see this continue for another 5 weeks.
Well, I probably would, since you put it that way.
I'm just trying to think of anybody else on the roster. Hell, we're talking about the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre wouldn't be bad either. But you got Johnny Knoxville in there.
Well, I think Johnny Knoxville maybe with Zayn against McIntyre would work. Maybe.
Maybe possibly.
Johnny Knoxville, the heel.
Well, I don't think he'd balk at that, would he?
No. You'd probably like it. Something different.
Yeah, he probably.
Yeah, anyway. But you already got Logan Paul playing the heel celebrity, so can't do that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got 2 celebrities. And maybe we get Vince McMahon wrestling on the card.
Against who?
Maybe Pat McAfee. What are we thinking, Sid?
Wait a minute. What brought that up?
The fact that Pat McAfee is going to have Vince McMahon on his show this coming Thursday. There's a lot of people out there who seem to think this has work written all over it. There are some people who's reporting possibly Vince McMahon being in action at WrestleMania, or at least billed to be in action at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think the angle here, though, probably ends up being Austin Theory versus Pat McAfee, which I wouldn't. Okay. I don't know how I feel about 76-year-old Vince McMahon getting in a wrestling ring, Sid.
Hey, maybe he wants one more last
I think
ride.
He does. I think he does. I think he wants to prove, hey, I'm not an old man, and I'll go do it. And he might end up whipping McAfee's ass too. So
I bet McAfee would do the job.
Well, I guess he would. If Vince says, "I'm beating you, pal."
Yeah.
I mean,
lay down.
To be fair, McAfee is 0-2 in his professional wrestling career.
He is.
It would go right along with everything.
I wouldn't mind seeing Pat McAfee in the ring again, because we know he can go. His match with Adam Cole was one of the best debut matches, I've seen from anybody. And then he was fantastic in War Games as well. That'd be interesting to see how he would mesh up with Vince McMahon, because now you're asking him, like, no offense to Vince, I know he's in great shape. You're probably asking Pat McAfee to carry that match.
Yeah.
Unless it's Austin Theory going out there and beating the crap out of Pat McAfee, and then Vince gets the pinfall. Austin Theory's getting involved in some way, shape, or form. They got to pay off whatever the hell those two have been doing on Raw for the last 4 months.
Oh, it won't go long if they do have a match, and it will be constructed from beginning to end.
Oh, for sure.
Every second.
Problem is go ahead.
And whatever it ends up, it could be a crappy match, but it's Vince.
Yeah.
They don't expect a masterpiece. What's surprising them is he's 76 years old and he's getting in the ring. And this would be a good way to set it up off that interview. If I was Vince, I'd just get him and slap him.
That's what they did when they set up McAfee and Adam Cole. They had Adam Cole go on Pat McAfee's show, and they insulted each other. Adam Cole dropped a bunch of F-bombs on Sirius XM and chucked some furniture and left, and then that was the big setup. So I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on this interview for Pat McAfee this Thursday for sure. One, just because Vince doesn't do a whole lot of interviews, which also.
So where do you see this? YouTube, or does he have his own channel, or what?
Yeah, he's got his own channel. He's got his own YouTube channel.
Okay. When's it on? I'll watch it.
I believe Wednesday.
Okay.
I thought they said Thursday.
Wednesday.
I thought they said Tuesday.
Maybe Monday.
It's on one of those days.
Maybe it's on right now. It might be on right now.
The Pat McAfee post show. Thursday, says Steven. So thank you for that. There you go.
It just
Thursday. Steven knows it.
I said Thursday. So just to recap real quick, we are potentially looking at a WrestleMania card with Logan Paul, Johnny Knoxville, potentially Vince McMahon, and 57-year-old Stone Cold Steve Austin wrestling on the card.
And Pat McAfee.
And maybe Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
The most stupendous 2-night premium live event in wrestling history.
So that would mean McAfee does WrestleMania. Did he do it last year?
No.
Announce it?
No, he wasn't on commentary at that point last year. He's only been on commentary for Almost a year. It's coming up on a year.
Yeah,
But he wasn't here
at WrestleMania.
No, because Samoa Joe and
Right.
we did all the commentary changes right at WrestleMania because Tom Phillips was basically like quietly let go right before WrestleMania. And then they had Samoa Joe standing out in the rain in a poncho with with Michael Cole and Corey Graves and all those guys. And then like 3 days later, they let Samoa Joe go and they brought in Adnan Burke as the lead guy for Monday Night Raw for about 6 weeks. And then they brought in Jimmy Smith, and that's when they brought in Pat McAfee. So they did all those changes right around WrestleMania last year. So,
okay, Tom Phillips, why did they let him go? He did a few things, didn't he?
Yeah, actually, I think
Did he do the texting and all that and to some woman or?
I
remember that.
I remember
that was
that.
embarrassing. Really,
I don't remember this. What happened?
He did something he was very inappropriate, I think, with a woman on a plane or something. And
I
she
think
reported him.
He sent the beef. He sent her a picture of the beef.
He sent her the sausage.
So it was snakes on a plane? Is that what it was?
Yeah,
snakes on a plane.
Like right.
Basically.
He sent her the shot of the big old sausage. And she turned. That was embarrassing. Oh,
okay.
my God.
So.
Well, Rick, you brought it up. You brought the guy's name up.
You did.
You did it. So you got to start it.
Damn.
That Rampage opener was pretty damn good, wasn't it, Sid? Sammy Guevara defending the TNT Championship against Andrade tonight. Successfully defending it.
Loved it. I absolutely loved it. Sammy Guevara has been probably the most consistent in-ring performer for AEW of 2022 so far. The Cody match was fantastic. This tonight was really good, a really fun matchup. I love the story as well with Matt Hardy still having this erratic behavior, pushing Andrade's foot off the ropes, and then him being the cause for the loss with exposing the turnbuckle.
What did he do? Did he push it off?
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of that? What's the story?
He's basically becoming broken again because the time is nearing for Brother Nero to come home. That Jeff Hardy is coming to AEW.
Yeah, so
I don't get it.
Who
gives?
To be honest, a lot of his team, actually all of his team, they've been losing a lot lately. So it's really starting to drive Matt Hardy insane, right? Which is what the broken character is for. So eventually he's every once in a while you'll see him out on the ramp and he's doing the delete and the crowd's going along with it. I mean, it was the pandemic that really killed that character because it really thrives off of the audience. And that's why he started going back to some of his older stuff, and now we have this version of Matt Hardy. But yeah, I think he's going back to the broken brilliance alongside Brother Nero. He's gonna dump Private Party and everybody else, and it's gonna be the Hardy Boys. But the broken universe version of the Hardy Boys,
the broken Hardys.
Yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I was so excited when Matt Hardy joined up with AEW to do the broken brilliance justice in AEW, and then unfortunately it just never really took off. I'm hoping he gets this shot at redemption, and I hope it works this time around.
Agreed.
It was over like a son of a bitch, and I'm thinking I don't get it because I came in late on it anyway.
Yeah.
So, but it was over.
Dutch,
when you do this,
I'm a fan, and I don't get it. There's just something about it that is infectious. You just like it. Kind of like Hook beating the shit out of jobbers tonight.
Let's give it up for the one black student who knew better than to mess with Hook. Like all these idiots running at Hook, getting beat down, getting marked. He was like, nah, I'm out. He's like, peace. He's like jetted. I clapped for him. I stood up in my living room and I clapped for him being smart enough to know you don't mess with Hook.
QT came out there, and what was he complaining about?
Hook.
He was complaining about Hook
and
talking to Taz.
Yeah.
and that he taught him respect, which is a backhanded slap at Taz, I guess.
Yes.
And then Hook came out there, and they sent some guys at him, and he laid them all out. He damn suplexed them or whatever, and just left.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to get all these guys.
Yeah, QT sent his students. QT sent his students after Hook, a former student of his, who he thinks I guess QT basically QT wants his flowers, right? He wants his roses for helping setting up Hook at this point. And Hook's just like, F you and your students.
Yeah, he wants recognition.
Yes.
And he thinks, I guess, Taz moved in on it and took it all. I don't know. Is that it?
Yeah.
So he sent all his students at him, and he just turned and left.
You could tell those first two were students, too, because that first guy took a rough bump on the ramp, like right as it was going down.
Yeah, because they agreed to take a bump on that ramp. That's one thing.
And two, the second guy, he rocked his head. He rocked his head on that clothesline on the ramp.
Yeah.
Either he's the best seller in the world, or that dude is seeing stars right now.
Did Hook ever acknowledge QT on the ramp?
No,
he looked at him when he put the red rum on the final guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think if he'd looked at him and like, you want some, and then he turns and leaves. But that's a little thing anyway.
Hasn't Hook already beaten QT's ass, though? Like, what's the...
Did he beat him?
He didn't. He hasn't gone one-on-one with QT yet.
Yeah, but he suplexed the hell out of him a couple times, right? Like, so the end game is going to be him beating him in a match at some point.
Yeah.
Then he walked over him, last week or the week before?
The week before, he gave him the suplex and walked over him.
Hey, if you got any Hook questions, ask Sid. He's the Hook expert on the show.
What the hell did Jericho call Hook fans tonight? What the hell?
Hookamaniacs.
Hookamaniacs. We are hookers, Chris Jericho. We are hookers. Yes. Come on, man. You used to call your fans Jericho-holics, and you can't say hookers? Come on.
Yeah, wow. What's the deal?
If they could say shit with impunity, like they could drop hookers on the air, especially when it don't mean the same damn thing.
Well, so you guys saying that he's not using that for a reason?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he just forgot it.
He's on social media. He knows that's the term.
Yes.
I don't know why
he's trying to get over Hookamaniacs. And it references Terrence
do you
from Florida.
Do you like that said or no?
No, I hate it. I hate it. It's referencing Terrence from Florida. I hate it. What are you doing?
Yeah, I agree.
What did we think about the transitions tonight, guys? There were a lot of time-cutting measures.
Oh,
they were like anti-WWE tonight. No video packages, no entrances, no pyro. Just, there was a beat down on the damn ramp. Here's what we got coming up. Oh, hey, look, Wardlow's already in the ring, and we got action. Let's go. Like, it was just boom, 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 boom tonight.
Brother, those announcers were talking so fast, they should be paid by the word. God.
No.
And
when they had to run down the lineups, that was when I was like, whoa, Excalibur needs to get paid extra for that.
Oh my God.
How many takes you think it took him to do that one in the recording studio? Holy crap. But I'll tell you what, I love this Wardlow match. He powerbombed Camarado like it was nothing. He just took a big ass grizzly bear and slammed him down on the ground 4 or 5 times like it was nothing. And the crowd ate it up. Like, I'm ready. I'm ready for the Wardlow turn. I'm ready for him to just be let loose and take over. And like, part of me wants Wardlow to win the Face of the Revolution ladder match. And then MJF, after he loses to CM Punk, most likely at Revolution, to go to Wardlow and say, hey, thanks for winning that ladder match for me. And that just kind of be the start of everything, where it's like, no. This is my time now, because I think Wardlow's ready.
I don't.
Okay.
I think he's good looking, strong guy, but I don't know if he's ready enough to be on his own. I mean, he can go in there for a squash. And I think that guy he squashed tonight, I liked him better than I like Wardlow. look at the look. And he was bigger than Wardlow.
He was.
The guy's 300 pounds at least. He looks like Brody. And I says, man, just to take him in there and beat him like that, I think, it was good for Wardlow, and everybody's redeemable. But I would look at that Camarado. Is that his name?
Camarado.
Yeah. Camarado. I think there's something to him. I really do. And they got some big guys over there now. They got Hobbs, and who's that other kid?
Keith Lee came over.
Keith Lee, and they got one other big guy. But anyway, they got some big guys over there.
Yeah.
How big is Luchasaurus?
He's like 6'8", 6'7", 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they got
He's
a couple
of
of
guy that they'd say was 7 foot tall in WWE. Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
Basically. No, but I do agree with you. Camarado did look good, especially that one-arm gorilla press that he had at one point. That was very impressive.
I've never seen that before.
That was very impressive. And I do also agree with Dutch. I don't think it's time for Wardlow to be on his own. They are really slow burning. It's the right way because they are setting up 2 turns for him. He first has to turn on Shawn Spears, and then he finally has to get his hands on MJF. And I don't think that should happen until after MJF wins the AEW World Championship. So I don't see this happening until at least the summer, the earliest. And Wardlow makes it work because the post-match, Shawn Spears was fantastic.
He was phenomenal
in that post-match. Oh my
God. He said it's not getting over.
It's not getting over. He's like, no one wants to see the powerbomb. See, I said powerbomb and they're all booing. I was like, yo, this is the best Shawn Spears ever.
That was good.
The
but
whole
I think if you turn him loose now, I think that's a plan to fail. I do. So let him follow the blueprint, and then give him more time. They got time.
They're slow burning his progression as well because he started off with just like the squash matches. Now he's versing actual guys like Max Caster and the Blade, and then he had this match here where he's versing like a bigger guy. Then he's going to be in the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Maybe he can get like a title shot at the TNT Championship if he wins, or if he doesn't down the road. That's another big test for him. He needs all these big tests before he finally gets that moment. But he's building up that fan anticipation for it, and they're really getting behind him. So I like what they're doing.
What is happening with Mr. Swagger over there?
He's anything? Not really. He's in the inner circle, but the inner circle is kind of fractured with Santana and Ortiz kind of trying to go on their own. You got Sammy Guevara, the TNT champion. Chris Jericho's focused on Eddie Kingston. So all the members of the inner circle has got something going on except for Hager.
Enter Cesaro. Be a good spot for it, wouldn't it?
Hager's doing a lot of MMA training, right? Like, cause he's still.
Yeah, he is. He is.
I mean, he wrestled. How long ago was that match? Last week, the tag team match with Santana Ortiz. Dude was shredded like I've never seen before.
Yeah, he was looking good. He was looking really good out there.
Well, I just wondered what they had planned for him because I haven't seen him. I haven't talked to him in a long time either. I may call him next week.
Remember that one time on this show when he called you during the show?
I do remember that. He wanted some money for some beer or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
He's bugging me all the time for that.
So we talked about Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa and their fantastic promo exchange at the top of the show tonight. The main event, Orange Cassidy defeats Anthony Bowens. Of course, the word to your mother drop. This was a really, really fun match. My boy Danhausen gets involved at the end. Orange Cassidy qualifies for the Face of the Revolution ladder match, which I think was the right call.
Very nice and smart editing by AEW. I heard about the Max Caster rap, and he made a comment about Putin. And that was a great call by them to edit that out of his entire rap.
Tell us the story.
basically he in his rap he made a comment about Putin. If you didn't know, Russia and Ukraine they're basically in World War III. A lot of tragedy is going on. It's nothing to joke about or put in a rap or make it about entertaining when wrestling is supposed to be an escape for people. So that was a right choice by Tony Khan, the AEW editing team, to edit his rap, where you can notice like it was shorter than usual. He usually does 8 bars, not 4.5, and he kind of did that because they edited out that first part where he mentioned it.
So that's the kid with Bowen.
Yes.
Okay, what's his name? Max Caster.
Yes.
Yes.
Hell, I'm still learning the player. That's how silly I am on AEW. So
they got a deep roster. It's okay.
Yeah, and I still couldn't tell you what it is. I mean, and I saw tonight that he has an important announcement next week. Mr. Khan.
Yes.
What's that about? What's that about?
Dynamite. He's been teasing it for a while. He said it's on the same level of the first dance, but he couldn't put a date. There's been NDAs he signed where he couldn't really talk about it. But this Wednesday he's going to make the announcement.
So he's a big believer in NDAs, right? Non-disclosure agreements.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wish he'd tell me something. I'd break it right away. I'd bust my ass to get it. I'd do a special interview about it.
I have no clue what this announcement could be. I got none. All I know is he is fantastic at promotion, at promoting events and getting people hyped and getting people talking, getting people guessing. And more often than not, he delivers. You know, like more often than not than he delivers. So we'll see what it is. There's no like one singular free agent out there that makes sense to where this could be something like that. I don't know if this is just a talent.
So you say even if it was Cesaro, it wouldn't match to the level that you think it should.
That he's hyping it. Yeah.
I see. I don't either.
The only one that I could think of that would even come close is Bray Wyatt at this point. And Assam just said that in the chat right there as I said it as that popped up on the screen there. Bray Wyatt's like the only guy, but
I don't even think that reaches the level.
Yeah, no,
me either.
It's been a year ago since he's been released, and you haven't heard anything about him.
I mean, he was filming a movie, but yeah, it's
Well,
I'm wondering if this Cody comes back. Maybe, who the hell knows? Maybe this has to do more with an event or a partnership or something along that line, but I don't know.
An HBO Max deal. Who said that?
That would be
and Ricky think it's and Steven think it's a streaming service.
That would be a game changer if they could get their pay-per-views on HBO Max, so people like myself don't have to spend $49.99, or people like Sid don't have to go find his special little links.
I don't go find anything, ladies and gentlemen. I spend my good hard-earned money on every show I watch. What is he talking about?
Yeah, we believe that.
Okay, I didn't mean to out you there. That's
this guy over here. Come
on. Okay, well, let me ask you. An HBO Max deal is what? I know the service.
Put their tape library on there and do their pay-per-views off of HBO Max.
Yeah, so like WWE has Peacock, AEW would have HBO Max.
Okay.
And I already subscribed to HBO Max, so that would be perfect.
Me too.
Then you'd have John Cena and AEW on the same streaming service.
Dun dun dun.
The forbidden door is open.
Now, why didn't you show that enthusiasm at the start of the show?
Oh, I had plenty of enthusiasm at the start of the show. Y'all just bored.
Sid, did he? He said he was depressed.
He was very angry and touchy. He was touchy.
So what you're saying is that
grumpy is the word.
I just need to turn it up a notch. That's what you're saying. I just need to turn it up a little bit. Just kind of Ramp it up.
Okay, we're just asking.
More energy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I need to?
Yeah, that's what I
No,
said.
because Orange Cassidy's one of the most over guys on either show that we saw tonight, and he never shows energy. He just does.
That is right.
Word to your mother.
Word to your mother. That was a great line.
It was. It was. He
It was
did
so-
all those moves with one hand in his pocket and the microphone in his hand. That was amazing.
The things that the athleticism that guy has is incredible.
Like, I'm just watching this whole match and I'm like, people actually complain about Orange Cassidy. Like, he's one of the most over guys.
Yeah.
He's a genuine homegrown star that they kind of built from the bottom up. This guy didn't even have his first match for like the first 6 months he was on TV. Like, they really, really nourished and made him a star and made him important. But he's still a comedy character, so he can kind of go anywhere in the card. This is kind of the kind of guy WWE would wish to have.
He's a comedy character that can get serious.
Yes.
And he can go. He can go more with no arms, and most guys can go with 2 arms. Well, actually, with Rick over here with 4 arms. Rick had 4 arms. Understanding,
if Orange
extra
Cassidy
extremities to you.
If Orange Cassidy was in WWE, they would literally have him in one of those motorized scooters that you'd find at like a grocery store chasing after the 24/7 title. Like, that's what they would have Orange Cassidy doing in WWE. He would not be anywhere close to putting on the kind of bangers that we've seen this man put on in AEW. So I think he is in the exact right spot. But I do get your understanding. They would like to have Orange Cassidy, but they would love to have him, their version of Orange Cassidy, and they would probably change his name to some other kind of fruit, and then give him like some other BS last name, and maybe take away his last name, and then give him a new last name, and then put him in a tag team with a big dude.
What about Mango Cassidy? That'd be good.
Mango Cassidy?
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Not orange. Mangoes.
It'd just be mango.
It'd be something stupid. It'd be like Kumquat Cassidy. I think that would be something that WWE would do.
I love the name. Kumquat Cassidy.
Kumquat Cassidy.
I think that's the perfect way to end the show.
That would be.
You got some stuff going on tomorrow on True Heel Heat.
Don't know how to follow that one, but yeah, check us out. True Heel Heat YouTube channel. We go live at 11:05 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. True Heel Heat 164. We're going to be talking about Cesaro leaving WWE, all the moves for AEW, recap of the weekend wrestling. We're also going to be talking about MLW Super Fight, plus much, much more. So check us out, True Heel Heat 164.
And just follow me wherever you find me. I don't really give a crap. Dirty Dutch Mantell at gmail.com. You can find me. And you can find me some other places on Twitter. Dirty D Mantell. I'm like Rick. I'm not verified, so I don't have one name.
I ain't verified. I've tried a bajillion times.
You said it last week that you weren't verified. Which
I said I wasn't.
That's what I'm saying, that you wasn't. I meant to say that. You misunderstood me. So, and Sid, he interrupted me.
He did.
See, I'm trying to talk.
I was rude.
And he's all over me.
I'll mute myself for 10.
That's heaven. Not to hear him for 10 seconds. Watch him. He can't wait to get back in. Watch. See? He's coming. He's not timing.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah. You're in.
10 seconds.
You passed the time. But it is. As long as he just prolongs it, the better I'll feel. So anyway, let's go ahead and say good night right now. We won't let Rick get his last words in, so he don't matter.
I got some plugging to do.
See.
Do your plugs, Rick.
I got some plugging to get in. Please subscribe to the Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast YouTube channel. That is BLEAV. Sid has a very, very good interview up there with Alex Hammerstone right now ahead of MLW's event this weekend, Super Fight in Charlotte, North Carolina. And next week, again, either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how much work I can get done on it, because it is the longest interview I've ever done in my entire life. It'll be Jimmy Wang Yang's first interview post WWE producer career. He told us all about why he was not retained, what he thinks about that. Talked about the Seth Rollins fan incident, which he was front and center for. A lot of really good stuff in there. All 38 minutes of it will drop next week. So again, that is BLEAV in Pro Wrestling on YouTube. Subscribe. By the way, check out my pinned tweet at Rick Ucchino. You see the name right there. Follow the instructions. You could win $50 or even $100 to shop AEW next Sunday, March 6th. Time is running out. Please do that. Listen to me and Sid bitch and moan and argue with each other. It's all out of love, though. It's all out of love. Sid, you got the con, so you got to end the show.
Yes, this has been Smack Talk. Later, y'all.